Chosen ones, your final trial has arrived. And no, this is not a drill. This is not a preparation stage or a theoretical test. This is it, the point of no return. The valley where shadows grow longer and illusions fall apart. The moment where your strength, your clarity, and your soul will be tested in ways that will break most people. But you are not most people. You are among the very few who have been forged by fire and called by the higher currents of the unseen. You've seen the patterns. You've felt the shift. You've known deep down that something powerful was coming, and it's now here. Before we dive into what this means, pause, breathe, and if you're truly ready, I ask you to stay with this message until the very end. There are pieces of yourself that will only be activated as the words reach you. The timing is not accidental. If you're watching this now, it means you are already aligned with a higher frequency. And because the universe responds to activated intentions, I encourage you to leave your warmest wish in the comments along with 77. Not just any wish, but the one that has pulsed through your heart the strongest. This wish has power now, because you're about to face the exact moment in your story where the soul either collapses or transcends. Now, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and let's dive deeper. The final trial is unlike anything that came before it. In every other chapter of your journey, you are being shaped. You faced hardship, confusion, betrayal, isolation, not because life was punishing you, but because the universe was preparing a warrior, a silent one, a chosen one. Each fall you endured became a hidden staircase, each silence a sacred initiation. But now, the test is not about whether you can survive the pain. You've proven that. Now, it's about whether you can remain true when the storm tempts you to forget everything you are. This trial is subtle. It comes cloaked in normality. It arrives not like a monster, but like a distraction. It will try to convince you that your visions were delusions, that your path was fantasy, that your light is weakness and your hope is foolishness. And many, so many, will believe it. They will surrender, not because they are evil, but because they were not ready. They mistook the preparation for the destination. They thought the universe owed them rest after the last fight. But you, chosen one, you are being called to rise when no one is watching, to walk forward when every voice tells you to turn back. You'll notice that people around you begin to act strangely. Some will grow distant. Others will provoke you. They won't even understand why they're doing it. That's how deep this final trial runs. It speaks through people, situations, and energies. You'll feel resistance where you once felt flow. You'll face doubt in places you once found clarity. This is not failure. This is the calibration of the ultimate test. Can you remain centered when the world becomes noise? Everything you do now echoes beyond this dimension. Every choice you make either locks you deeper into the illusion or unlocks a gate that was invisible until now. Many doors are about to close for good, but one, just one, is about to open. And it leads not to comfort, but to destiny. You must be ready to lose what never truly belonged to you. Your attachments will be shaken. Your identities will be stripped. Even the roles you played in others' lives will dissolve. The final trial demands that you stand naked in your essence, without title, without validation, without the false masks that helped you survive. Do not chase the comfort of the familiar. It's a trap. The voices telling you to go back, to settle, to stop trying. Those are echoes of old versions of you trying to pull you down into the grave they dug for themselves. And you can't afford to die there. You've come too far. You've seen too much. You've been entrusted with a frequency that could ripple through generations if you protect it. This moment is not about proving anything to anyone. It's about remembering. Remembering the vow you made before you incarnated into this realm. The promise that no matter what, you would awaken, that you would answer the call when the veils dropped, that you would choose truth over popularity, purpose over comfort, and light over shadows, even when the shadows seemed easier. So here we are. The test is here. Your breath, your silence, your decisions, all of it counts now. This is the battlefield of the invisible war. The prize is not money, fame, or status. It's sovereignty. It's remembering who you are when the matrix glitches and the illusions try to reassert themselves. Most won't make it because they'll trade their authenticity for applause. But you will burn with truth, and the fire will not consume you. It will purify you. Don't let your past define your capacity to rise. The darkness is afraid of you remembering your own power. That's why it hits so hard now. That's why everything seems designed to break you. Because if you cross this threshold, you'll become unstoppable. The final trial is a collapse of the false world. It will look like chaos. It will feel like loss, but it is the birth of the real. Let the old timelines crumble. Let the false attachments dissolve. Don't save what's trying to leave. Don't hold what was never truly yours. You are not alone, even if you feel like it. The universe stands still when a chosen one rises. And right now, it's watching. Not to judge, but to witness. To hold space for the miracle of your memory returning. You were always destined for this moment. Your heartbeat carries codes that the old world cannot decode. That's why it fears you. That's why it tries to silence you. But you are here, and you are awake. This is the beginning of the final descent before the rise. The path gets narrow now. Only the courageous will walk it. Only the ones who trust their soul more than they trust their senses. But if you dare to keep going, you will not just survive this. You will be reborn from it. The pressure you're feeling is not accidental. The weight on your chest, the silence between connections, the strange sense that time itself is moving differently. These are all signals, not from the outside world, but from the deeper layers of reality that only the chosen ones can feel. The final trial distorts the illusion. It warps what you once thought was real. It will make you question everything, not because the truth is changing, but because you're being stripped of what you used to believe was truth. This is a test of discernment. Can you feel what's real beneath what's loud? Can you hear your soul in the noise? Many will listen to the outer chaos and forget the voice within. But you must become still in the storm. Not passive, still. There's a difference. Stillness is not inaction. It is conscious presence. It is the refusal to be baited into fear or drama or distraction. And the world will throw it all at you now. It will use people you love. It will tempt you with what you thought you wanted. It will promise you comfort in exchange for silence. But silence now is betrayal to your soul, to your calling, to the ones who need your light. This trial is not about defeating enemies outside. It is about confronting the enemy within. The version of you that still doubts your worth, that still believes you're not ready, that still clings to the past because the future feels too wide. You must face that version and not argue with it, not fight it, transcend it. And that transcendence requires pain. Not the kind that breaks you, but the kind that transforms you. The kind that digs out what's false and forces you to rebuild from truth. Most won't survive because they will try to avoid the pain. They will numb it, deflect it, outsource their healing to others. But pain is the gate. It's the passage. And if you can walk through it with eyes open, with heart steady, something sacred will ignite in you, something that can never be taken. The world doesn't need more performers. It needs presence. Real, raw, holy presence. The kind that only comes from someone who has died to every false identity they once wore. And that's what this trial demands. Ego death. Not all at once, but in waves. With every wave, you'll feel lighter, but you'll also feel exposed. That's how you know you're close. When there's nothing left to hide behind, you finally see who you were meant to be. There's no map for this, no manual, no mentor who can walk it for you. The sacred path is solitary, not because others aren't willing, but because it is designed for your feet alone. Yes, you can receive support. Yes, you can be guided. But the step must be taken by you. That first shaky breath, that final goodbye to the old self, that fierce decision to walk when everything says stay, that's on you. And the universe is watching, not to grade you, but to witness you. This is the theater of the soul, where the unseen audience leans in close to observe if the one they chose will rise or retreat. Every step you take echoes across timelines. Every choice you make creates new possibilities not just for you, but for those tethered to your energy across dimensions. That's why you feel so much right now. Because this isn't just about you. It never was. You carry ancestral codes. You carry future destinies. And now, in this crucible of the final trial, all of them are being activated. This is the compression point, where pressure reveals the diamond. But unlike physical diamonds, your brilliance doesn't lie in hardness. It lies in your capacity to remain soft and strong, intuitive and discerning, present and powerful. That's the paradox this world cannot understand. But it is the essence of a chosen one. So yes, you will be misunderstood, you will be judged, you will be called crazy, delusional, or dramatic. That's part of the camouflage the trial uses, to isolate you just long enough for your true vision to emerge. But hear this, the vision is real. The dream is real. The signs you've seen are not illusions. They are invitations, and this trial is the cost of accepting the invitation. Every time you choose truth over convenience, the path widens. Every time you choose alignment over applause, the veil thins. Every time you choose love over fear, not blind love, but courageous love, the universe adjusts your frequency. And what's coming for you on the other side of this trial requires that version of you. Not the old one, not the half-lit one, the one who is forged, aware, and undeniable. The loneliness you feel, that's the silence before the curtain rises. The confusion, that's the distortion of the old grid collapsing. Don't misread it. You're not being abandoned. You're being refined. And the ones who are meant to walk with you will meet you on the other side of the fire. But for now, you must walk it alone. Not as punishment, but as preparation. Because what's coming will demand you to lead, to speak, to build, to heal. And you can't do that while still tethered to the illusions you're meant to dissolve. So let them fall. Let the opinions, the attachments, the outdated identities burn. You will not lose what's real. You will only lose what was never yours to keep. This trial isn't just about surviving. It's about remembering. It's about waking up in the middle of the storm and saying, "This is where I was always meant to be." Not because you enjoy suffering, but because you've remembered your mission. And your mission was never supposed to be easy. It was supposed to be worth it. And it is. Every breath you take with integrity creates a ripple. Every thought you clear, every lie you reject, every boundary you hold, it changes everything. You're not just navigating this test for yourself. You're holding a frequency for others who don't even know why they feel hope again. That's the power of a chosen one in their final trial. You are the signal, the lighthouse, and the ocean is watching. You were not chosen because you were the loudest, the strongest, or the most seen. You were chosen because your soul carried a blueprint that only you could decode, a pattern of memory and mission, etched not into your skin, but into the vibration of your essence. And now, in the silence between what was and what is to come, that blueprint is unfolding, slowly, painfully, perfectly. This is the unveiling. But unveiling is not pretty, it's not cinematic or graceful. It's raw, it's confusing. It feels like collapse, because it is collapse. The final trial is a ritual of unraveling, not to destroy you, but to dismantle what has been keeping you small, safe, hidden. The universe has seen the mask you wear and the wounds you've painted over. It saw the way you held back when your light could have shattered darkness. And now it's calling you to stand fully revealed, even if your voice shakes, even if your heart breaks. What must die now is not your hope. It is your hesitation. It is your delay, your bargain with destiny, your conditions for courage. There is no more time for that. The clock has already struck. The ground beneath you is not falling apart. It is shedding layers. And every layer that falls takes with it an old agreement you made with limitation. You are not here to survive this life. You are here to ignite it. But ignition demands friction, and friction is uncomfortable. You will be triggered. You will be pushed. You will be asked to do things that terrify you, to speak up, to walk away, to forgive, to begin again, to admit what you want without apology, to stop dimming your gifts because someone else is scared of their own. This is not ego. This is essence, and essence must lead now. The final trial is not external. It is not about enemies or systems or circumstances. It is about how you meet yourself in the mirror when the world stops clapping, when no one is watching, when everything in you is screaming to quit, to collapse, to disappear. In that moment, the trial reaches its peak, and in that moment, you must decide, do I give in to the old self, or do I rise into the unknown? Because here's the truth most won't tell you. Ascension hurts. Awakening burns. Stepping into your real power often feels like loss before it feels like gain. The friends who disappear, the dreams that no longer excite you, the places that feel foreign, the people who can no longer meet your frequency. It's not your failure, it's your evolution. And not everyone is meant to walk with you past this point. Let them go. With love, with honor, but with certainty. You are not here to carry everyone. You are here to carry frequency, to anchor it into your voice, your choices, your being. And that frequency must be kept clean, fierce, and unshakable, even when it hurts, especially when it hurts, because that's when most people retreat. That's when the majority fall. But not you. You are not like the others. You never were. That ache you feel in your bones isn't weakness. It's your soul trying to stretch itself back to full capacity. The fatigue, it's recalibration, the confusion, it's the disorientation that comes from leaving behind everything false. You are being purified. The fire you're in isn't punishment, it's refinement. And what survives the fire will not be fragile, it will be indestructible. Do you know what happens when you stop running? When you stop negotiating with fear? You unlock the hidden doors. You access the codes that were waiting behind your surrender. Not surrender to despair, but surrender to truth. When you say, "I don't know what's coming, but I trust my soul more than I trust my fear," something ancient activates within you, and it shifts reality, not metaphorically, but literally. You will begin to notice synchronicities aligning like magnets. You will speak, and the world will echo. Not because you're casting spells, but because your energy has become undeniable. That is the reward of this trial. Not applause, not comfort, not approval, but alignment. And from that alignment comes everything you once begged the world for: clarity, direction, power, peace. But now you're not begging, you're embodying. And this embodiment is dangerous. Not to you, but to everything that benefits from your silence. Your power will upset the systems. Your clarity will threaten the confused. Your love will expose the fearful. And your presence will shake loose every chain, pretending to be comfort. That's why you've been tested so relentlessly, because what you carry must be earned, not to prove your worth, but to prove your readiness. You are not fighting for a throne. You are remembering that you are the throne, the seat of divine will, the anchor point for new timelines. And when you walk in that knowing, the old world will tremble, not because you are violent, but because you are unshakable, because you no longer need validation to know who you are. The final trial will strip away everything that tries to tell you otherwise. It will remove your excuses. It will starve your shadows. It will isolate you until you realize you were never alone. You were simply being brought back to yourself. And when that moment lands, when you see yourself clearly for the first time, scarred, sacred, shining, you will weep. Not from pain, but from recognition. You were never broken. You were becoming. There will come a moment in this trial when silence is louder than any scream. When even your thoughts feel too heavy to carry, you will look around and see nothing familiar. No hand to reach for. No voice to calm the rising tide in your chest. It will feel like abandonment, but it is not. It is the sacred pause before rebirth. Because in this trial, you are not meant to be rescued. You are meant to remember. You are meant to rise without applause, to speak without being echoed, to choose without guarantees. This is not punishment. This is spiritual sovereignty. And only those who walk through this fire alone can carry the frequency needed to lead others through their own. The reason most won't survive this trial is simple. They will look for shortcuts. They will ask, "How can I make this easier?" instead of, "What is this trying to make of me?" They will search for a way back to comfort rather than a way forward into transformation. But comfort is the enemy here. It seduces you into staying small. It offers you a version of yourself that is easy to digest, but incapable of leading. You weren't made for easy. You were made for eternal. There is a moment coming, perhaps you've already felt it, when something in you refuses to go back. When the life you used to live feels too tight, too shallow, too scripted. That feeling is not madness. It's not restlessness. It is your divine essence, rejecting its own containment. It is your soul demanding expansion. And expansion always requires the death of what is no longer true. You see, the final trial is not here to take anything that belongs to your higher path. It's here to clear the clutter, to remove the fake identities, the borrowed beliefs, the timelines that no longer align. You might lose things, you might lose people, but you will never lose yourself unless you choose to. That's what this is all about, the choice to either protect your past or activate your purpose. The world will try to seduce you back into forgetting, It will offer you distractions that look like dreams, lovers who feel like lifelines but drain your soul, opportunities that glitter but keep you trapped. And here lies the final test. Will you stay loyal to your expansion, even when it's lonely, even when it's slow, even when it costs you what used to feel like everything? Because on the other side of that loyalty is clarity, power, peace, a presence so magnetic that the universe can no longer ignore you. But to get there, you have to pass through the dark without flinching. You have to walk through the void and say, I still choose truth. I still choose growth. I still choose me. There will be nights you cry without knowing why. Mornings where you wake up and wish you hadn't. You'll wonder if this path is even worth it. You'll question your own sanity. And that's when you must remember, confusion is a symptom of awakening. Pain is a marker of rebirth. Doubt is the echo of the old world trying to reclaim you. Let it echo, but don't let it own you. This is the moment where many turn around, where they crawl back into false peace, into roles that never fit, into cages dressed as kingdoms. But you are not like them. You've tasted too much truth. You've seen too many signs. You can no longer pretend to be asleep. You were chosen because you can hold the vision even when it hurts, because you can move without proof, because you can bleed without bitterness, and because your soul has something encoded within it that this world desperately needs, but can only be accessed through completion. You must complete the trial, not halfway, not almost, all the way through. Your mind will try to rationalize the pain. Your ego will want to be seen as victorious. But this isn't about what others see. It's about what you become. And sometimes becoming means being broken open, not to shatter, but to release the light that's been trapped inside you all along. Every great soul must walk through their own personal crucible, not because the universe is cruel, but because the weight of divine energy cannot rest on a weak foundation. You are being made indestructible, but that process will feel like devastation before it feels like elevation. So do not be shocked by what is falling away. Let it fall. Let the fire take what no longer serves. Grieve it, bless it, and then keep walking. There is no going back now. The only way out is through. Through the pain, through the doubt, through the silence, through the night. And if you make it, if you truly, deeply, honestly make it, you will emerge with something most never touch: sovereignty. The unshakable knowing that nothing outside of you can define or destroy you. That you are the storm, that you are the altar, that you are the voice that commands worlds into being. This is not metaphor. This is destiny. But destiny demands your full participation. No part-time effort, no conditional faith, no halfway truth. If you are to carry what is next, you must become what is next. And that means sacrificing what was. Even if it weeps, even if it screams, even if it begs to stay. You are here to graduate from every cycle that taught you survival. You are here to choose creation instead. And creation begins with destruction. That is the sacred paradox of the final trial. It destroys the self you outgrew to deliver the self you were always meant to be. And so the question is not whether you'll survive it. The question is whether you'll allow it to complete you. Whether you'll trust the fire long enough to become gold. This is not for the faint of heart. It is for the faithful of soul. And if you're still reading, still breathing, still burning, you are closer than you know. There comes a point in every trial where the body wants to collapse, but the spirit refuses. It is here where your awakening is no longer poetic, it becomes primal. No more metaphors, No more signs, no more gentle nudges from the universe. Only raw choice, only inner command, only the purest echo of your own will. In this stage, the final trial stops testing what you know and begins testing what you are. It tears away titles. It breaks apart beliefs. It dismantles identities you've hidden inside for years. You won't be able to explain who you're becoming, not even to yourself, because there are no words for what has never existed before. And you? You are becoming something the world has never seen. You will wake up some days and not recognize your own reflection. Not because you've changed on the outside, but because something ancient inside you has opened, and it cannot be closed again. This is the moment when your old self, still clinging to safety, tries to drag you backwards. You'll feel the pull. It will speak in the voices of people who never believed in you, in the memories of who you used to be, in the aching comfort of systems that celebrated your smaller self. But do not confuse memory with meaning. Just because something happened doesn't mean it still holds truth. Your soul is being carved open, not to hurt you, but to make space. Space for vision. Space for power. Space for a knowing that no external storm can ever shake again. But here's the sacred cost. You must release your grip on what's dying. You must loosen your attachment to what no longer echoes your divine frequency. If it resists your evolution, it was never your destiny. Let it go. In this part of the trial, the silence deepens, not because the universe has abandoned you, but because it has turned its gaze fully within you. You are the oracle now. The answers you seek will not come from signs or synchronicities. They will come from the roar in your blood, from the fire in your breath, from the thunder hidden in your bones. You must become your own prophet. And that means standing in the middle of the collapse and saying, I still choose me. Not the version of you others wanted, not the version that was easiest to love, but the untamed, unfiltered, unapologetic you that was forged in the invisible furnace of transformation. Many will not understand you here. Some will leave. Some will mock what they cannot carry. That is not your failure. It is your confirmation. You are shedding everything that cannot survive your rising. The higher you go, the more air thins. Only the soul learns how to breathe here. You may feel isolated. You may ache for connection. But connection that demands your dimming is not love. It is possession. And the final trial breaks all cords that are rooted in control. This is where your independence becomes your initiation. Not loneliness, but liberation. Can you walk forward without needing to be seen, validated, or approved? Because true leaders are not crowned. They are tempered. They are not built on praise, but on perseverance. The chosen ones are not here to blend in. They are here to interrupt, to destabilize what has grown stagnant, to awaken what has fallen asleep, to speak when silence would be safer. And that kind of presence is not born in comfort. It is birthed in the crucible. There will be moments where everything feels meaningless. You'll question the point of it all. You'll cry out for a reason to keep going. And yet, somewhere inside, beyond logic, beyond emotion, a still, small voice will whisper, keep going. And you will. Not because of motivation, not because of results, but because your spirit remembers what your mind cannot yet comprehend. You came here to finish this. This phase of the trial breaks illusions you didn't even know you were clinging to. It shows you how often you've performed just to feel loved, how many dreams weren't actually yours, how much of your energy has been spent keeping others comfortable. And when those truths hit, they don't just sting, they shatter. But in the wreckage, you'll find a new self, one that doesn't need to be understood to feel whole, one that doesn't need to be agreed with to move forward, one that knows peace isn't found, it's chosen. And that choice must be made again and again, especially when the world offers you 1,000 reasons to pick fear, especially when your own mind tries to seduce you with doubt. This is the battlefield now, not outside, but inside. Every thought is a weapon or a seed. Every belief either expands you or enslaves you. You must become your own gatekeeper. You must learn to protect your mind like holy ground, because what you think now becomes what you live next. You are manifesting in real time. Every feeling, every whisper, every unspoken belief is creating reality at the speed of alignment. And that's why the final trial is so brutal. It must clear out every false frequency before you take the throne of your own divine reality. You are being refined into royalty, not the kind that rules with ego, but the kind that governs with light, that leads by example, that heals by being, that transforms not by effort, but by presence. But first, you must learn how to carry yourself, how to honor yourself, how to walk through darkness without becoming it. Not every moment will be poetic. Not every breakthrough will be beautiful. But every step you take in truth is sacred, even when it's messy, even when it's quiet, even when no one sees it but you. Because the universe is always watching, always recording, always matching your faith with opportunities that would never show up to a version of you who hadn't earned them through fire. This is the hidden law of becoming. The reward is already written, but it is only released through completion. That's why many are called, but few are chosen. Because most people stop at the edge of transformation and call it enough, but not you. You were not made to be almost. You were made to be everything. So when your bones ache with fatigue and your heart feels hollow from hope, remember, you are not being punished. You are being perfected. You are not being denied. You are being designed. And when the last pieces of your old world fall apart, take a deep breath and smile, because now the real creation can begin. Now we arrive at the edge, the final edge. This is not just the end of the trial. It is the end of everything that cannot follow you into your next reality. And here, at the threshold of your destiny, the question is not, can you survive it? The question is, can you become what you were always meant to be, even if it costs you everything you've been? Because this is the point where most fall away, not because they're weak, not because they're lost, but because they can't let go. They cling to pieces of their old identity like lifeboats. But you, chosen one, you were never meant to cling. You were meant to rise. In this last phase, the universe becomes silent, not out of cruelty, but out of reverence. It steps back, like a teacher watching their student step into the final exam. No more hints, no more help, just you and everything you've learned. And now, all the knowledge, the pain, the revelation, the dreams, it all demands one final thing: embodiment. Not just knowing who you are, living it. Not just dreaming of your mission, walking it. Not just surviving the pain, transforming through it. This is where shadows try one last time to distract you. Old wounds reopen. Familiar patterns return in new disguises. You'll be tempted to go backward, not because you're weak, but because you're human. But every time you choose presence over panic, trust over control, truth over safety, you earn the next level of your soul's expansion. And then, something changes. It won't come with fireworks. It won't always be obvious. But deep within you, something will click. You'll feel the shift in your bones. Your breath will feel lighter, your heart steadier, your thoughts sharper, and your spirit unstoppable. The final trial was never meant to destroy you. It was designed to strip you of the illusions, the masks, the noise, the delays. It wanted to see what's left when everything is burned away. Who are you when there's nothing left to protect? Because the answer to that is your power. That's the secret few are ever told. The ones who survive the final trial don't just make it out alive. They become alive for the first time. They move with purpose, not panic. They speak with frequency, not fear. They stop chasing time and start bending it. They don't wait for permission. They become the command. You will walk differently now. People will feel it. Some won't understand you. That's because you're no longer walking the same dimension they're in. You've graduated timelines. You've risen into rare air. You've become unrecognizable to every version of you that prayed just to survive. But you didn't just survive. You alchemized. You awakened. You embodied the storm. You didn't run from the fire. You became it. You didn't avoid the pain. You turned it into prophecy. You faced your trial. And in doing so, you shattered every invisible chain that kept you small. Now, the doors that were once locked for you swing open without resistance. The people who once doubted you stand stunned in silence, and the parts of yourself that once trembled now stand tall in unshakable stillness. This is the divine reward, not material, not fleeting, but eternal. The reward is your becoming. The reward is your alignment. The reward is you, fully remembered, fully activated, fully here. You have walked through the valley of shadows with a torch in your chest. You have stood face to face with your own fear and did not bow. You have grieved who you were while still honoring who you are becoming. You have done what few ever will. You have completed the final trial. And now, something ancient awakens. The destiny you've been sensing but couldn't yet touch. It now reveals itself, not as a fantasy, not as a someday, but as a now. A reality that bends for your frequency. A world that shifts for your alignment. A life that responds to your decision. And in this new reality, you will no longer ask, "What do I do next?" Because now, you know. You don't wait. You don't wonder. You create. You don't beg for signs. You become one. You don't ask for miracles. You activate them. You don't seek permission. You walk in divine authority. The world needs this version of you. Not next year. Not when you feel ready. Now, because this isn't just your breakthrough, it's your assignment. Your power is no longer yours alone. It is a frequency that activates others. It is a light that calls forward every soul still buried in fear. It is a signal to every other chosen one. We are no longer hiding. We are no longer apologizing for being too deep, too intense, too awake. We were made for this. We trained for this. And now we lead. So breathe. Stand up. Look around. This is the new beginning, disguised as the end. You've made it through the storm not to rest, but to rise. Because the final trial wasn't meant to break you. It was meant to reveal you. And now, you are revealed. Now walk.